Hi my lovely Frosty fam, it's me, Karen Frost at Nail Decadence. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. We're going to get straight into it. So in this video, as you can see, I am preparing my nails. So I have used a cuticle pusher and pushed back my cuticles, and now I am using a cuticle bit with my e-file on a very low setting, either a 2 or a 3, really slow, and I will use it in the forward setting around 1/2 of my cuticle area, and then I will put it in the reverse setting, and then I will go over the other half of my cuticle area. So as you can see, I'm going forwards right now, and I've just flipped it in reverse, and now I'm going around the other side of my cuticle area. I find that doing it this way, it pushes the debris out from underneath the cuticle area, out from underneath the proximal nail fold. If you do it in one direction right the way around, I find that some of the debris gets pushed underneath the proximal nail fold, and this way it kind of pushes it out of the way, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so I do that way, and then as you can see, I'll also go over the skin if it's necessary. I will go over the skin because this bit is very gentle, so it's quite safe to use on the skin area. But yeah, just if it's any bit of hard skin there that I don't really want to nip off, I can just use that cuticle bit and it just smooths it out, if that makes sense. Anyway, then I move on to removing the shine from the natural nail bed, and I just use this diamond bit. It's crisscross, but it is a diamond bit, or you can use your sanding bands, a nice fine to medium sanding band to remove the shine from the natural nail. And I'll also use this bit to remove any lifted bits. I always leave a clear layer of acrylic on my nails because there's no reason to remove it. The only thing I do is I remove the lifted bits. So if there are any lifted bits, I remove those, and then the rest I'll leave on, because there's no point filing your nail over and over again when you're prepping, because can you imagine if you kept doing that, how thin your nails would be by the time they grew out, In 6 months you will have reapplied nails how many times and re-prepped that nail how many times. It just, for me it makes sense to just leave the clear layer on, protect my natural nail that's underneath, and only remove the lifted bits. And then when I'm prepping the nail, I'm only prepping the regrowth area, so the nail's not being prepped over and over, if you get what I mean. So as you saw, I just quickly nipped off any bits that were hanging. I don't do a lot of nipping, but that's personal preference. So I nipped off any bits that were hanging, and that's that. And now, as you can see, I am using forms because this is going to be a sculpted set of nails, and these forms are crap. I'll just say it. They're not very good. They're not as sticky as I would like, and they're kind of a little bit wonky, the printing. So and they're very flimsy. So when I use this compared to my SBD London forms, which are super duper thick, I'm not gonna lie, I did struggle with these. I sculpted with these for the fact being that I've got them, and I don't want to waste my forms, so let's get them used up. But I will say, from going from the SBD London forms to these forms, I noticed a huge difference in the way that they fit and the way that they feel. I don't recommend these forms. They get the job done, but if you want decent good forms, then I'd suggest the SBD London ones. And the SBD London ones actually stick onto my hand dolly silicone hands without any additional masking tape or anything. They are excellent. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get into what I'm doing. So yes, I am sculpting, and look, you can see the form's moving, and I'm trying to readjust it. Stupid form. Anyway, so I'm taking the first bead. It's fairly large, and I use that right at the free edge of my natural nail. I just let it join my free edge, and then I pull that down the rest of the length of the nail to form my new free edge. So that's the sort of the, yeah, it's literally just the free edge of the nail. You just pull that down, and then I will build that up a little bit. Now you can see I've pointed my forms up slightly. This is because I have hooked nails, and to get my nails to not look like they're growing downwards, I have to point the form upwards a little bit to compensate for that. So I will use, my next beads will be sort of filling that area in, because there's a sort of a dip between the form and my natural free edge, so I sort of fill that in. It's like a hidden apex, it's pretty cool. And then I will work my way up towards the cuticle area to make sure all my structure and everything is there. I've got a good apex in, and that the length of the nail is the length that I would like. And these are fairly long. Well, yeah, they actually are really quite long in normal standards. In nail tech standards, these are not that long, they're just long-ish. When you speak to nail techs, their definition of long and the layman's definition of long are two different things. Like, my sister would say that these are just extreme lengths, whereas I would say they're just long. What my sister thinks is long is what we nail techs would consider short. It's just the way it is. It's perception. Nail techs are used to longer nails, but anyway. So yes, I will just carry on sculpting these nails out. So I will leave you to watch that in peace, and I'll be back for the next bit. Oh, before I leave you to it, I should mention I'm using my SBD London Oval Kolinsky brush size 14, so it's a nice soft bristled brush. If you're looking for a firm brush, this isn't it. It's a soft brush, so when you're using acrylics that don't set up fast or too fast, this is a nice brush to use. If you're using an acrylic system that sets up fast, I'd suggest getting a firmer style of brush. I've got firm brushes and I've got soft brushes, and I switch between them depending on what acrylic I'm using and what the weather's like and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, but that's my personal preference, is to have different brushes. Some people have their ride or die brush that they use all the time, but then again, some people also just use one acrylic system, and whereas I use several. So yeah, it's all personal preference. But anyway, enough with the waffling. I'll let you watch the rest of the application of these sculpted nails. Ser niños contigo, si me gustaría entrenar, porque haciéndolo contigo me siento fenomenal. Que eso fluya, que te enamore, la culpa es tuya. Cuando me hablas eso a mí me arrulla, por eso es que quiero más. Quieres más que yo, la vida está para el amor, tanto miel de esa flor. Si estás pa' mí o estás para los demás. Mi amor, no pares, de ti siempre quiero más. Tú eres más que ese pared y ese hermoso mirar. Ya, mi amor, no pares, de ti siempre quiero más. La luna te la bajaré con estrellas en el mar. And they say, oh.
Siempre un perdón, no te mentí. Ya no hay nada que me asombre. Malo porque siempre confío en ti. Y te conozco solo el nombre. Me dice que me ama cuando hay nubes grises. Pero me saludan más las olas del mar. Ella es muy bipolar con tantos matices. Cuando dice que está bien, piensa que está mal. Yeah. Ella dice que está bien.
We're on to the filing part now. So I've got a 100 and one side and 80 the other side nail file, hand file, and I'm just going underneath to get rid of the excess sort of frills that have seeped down the sides of the forms. I'll get rid of all of those, even that up a little bit, and then I will sort out the sidewalls and the under arch. So you can see I'm doing the under arch now, levelling up, making sure it's nice and straight, and getting rid of any of the excess, like I said, that seeped down the form. And once I'm happy with that, I'll move on to the next nail. And I'll just continue with that. I will obviously do the sidewalls and the cuticle area and over the top of the main part of the body of the nail, but I'll do it gradually as I go along. And I normally change files for around the cuticle area. If I don't use the e-file, I will definitely use a hand file, but I won't use anything with a harsher grit than a 150 around the cuticle area, because if I was to use the 80 or 100 grit around the cuticle area, I've got more chance of cutting myself. And you shouldn't really need that high of a grit to sort out that area, because it should be pretty thin. The acrylic should be pretty thin there anyway. So as you can see, I've switched files and I've switched to my 150 grit now. And see, look, I'm going around the cuticle area with this one because it's a finer grit, so it's a bit more gentle. But I'm terrible. I slice my cuticles to pieces with hand files. I'm so rough with myself. I don't do it to other people, but on myself, yeah, I'm pretty rough. And as you can see, I'm going over the body of the nail and sort of blending it in with the filing that I did on the side walls. So it sort of marries it all together and then gives you a nice arch over the top of the nail, so you've got a nice contour to the nail. You don't want any flat parts on your nail. You want a nice rounded contour over the top and down again. A nice hill, yes, just like that. And so I will continue with that filing until I'm happy with it, and I will come back at the next bit.
No recordaba lo bueno que era estar a solas, sin que me juzguen con mis amigas cantando.
You're probably wondering why I haven't stopped filing yet. I'm still on that same now. I'm really pernickety with the filing. I'm very particular, and yeah, I probably file too much, and it's not probably, I know I do. I do file too much because I get a bit carried away and file happy, but I'm very pernickety with my nails and I like them to be as perfect as I can get them. So you'll see me often stop, look at the nail from all angles, and then file a bit more, and then stop and look at the nail, and then stop and look at the nail. That's because I'm trying to get it nice. Oh look, giving you a nice side view there, so you can see my apex and the contour of my nail. That's the kind of thing you're going for. Now I can see I've got a little bit too much on one side when you look at the under arch, so I'm just filing that a little bit way now, and just to even it up. And once I'm happy with it, we dust off and we rinse hands, etc. And I've actually remembered to show you what I'm using in this video. I'm using the Max Professional, that green colour. I'm using the Bijou gel polish in peach. It's a really gorgeous corally colour. Love this colour. And what else am I using? I'm using the Bishu matte top coat, and the white gel top coat is just, you know, a standard just white gel. Well, it's not a top coat, white gel polish. It's just, you know, you can get a white gel polish in any brand. So yeah, so on with the application of the gel polish. So I'm using, because the Max Professional gel polish is in a little pot, I'm using a gel brush to apply that, and we're keeping the layers nice and thin. Always remember with gel polish, keep the layers thin. Even if you have to do 3 layers, it's better to do 3 thin layers than 2 extra thick layers that might not cure properly. So just bear that in mind. And you don't want a big fat bulky nail either, so keep the layers as thin as you can. Now, it's not easy. Gel polish is not the same as nail polish, but you get used to it. Takes a bit of practice, but you do get used to it. But I will always recommend thin layers, because you want it to cure all the way through. Don't want any you don't want to be filing off any uncured gel polish, you know, because that's all got to get on your hands and whatnot. You want to avoid that as much as possible. So yeah. So once I've applied that layer on those 3 fingers that I've chosen, or 2 fingers and a thumb, I will apply the peach colour. Oh, look at that. Isn't that a beautiful colour? It's just, it screams summer to me. Just a gorgeous corally colour. Lovely. So that's on the middle finger. Then on the ring finger I'm doing white, because I'm going to be doing that sort of tie-dye effect looking pattern. So again, nice thin layers. Try and get the cuticle area neat, but not to worry if you've got shaky hands like me. Just use a clean-up brush dipped in rubbing alcohol, like what I'm doing here, and just clean up any of that has touched the skin. Just clean it all up, and it will just make the finished set look much more professional if you clean up these areas before you place your hand in the lamp to cure them. Don't cure it on the skin. Neaten it up, make it look nice and polished and, you know, finished off. You want it to look nice. You don't want to go to all that effort and have it looking really raggedy. You know, take the time. Take a clean-up brush and tidy things up. You know, it doesn't add that much more time. So, and the effect is so much nicer when it's a neater application. You know. Once I've finished cleaning that up, I will. I went a bit overboard by some of the cuticle areas. I took a bit too much away, like here on the side of my nail. I wiped away a bit too much, so don't be afraid to go back in before you cure it and sort those areas out. As long as you've not cured it, you can always fix any mistakes. You know, it's not a big deal. I leave these things in to show you, you know, no one's perfect. These things happen, and it's not a problem. You can fix it. You know, so, got a little bit on my skin again, so I go back in my clean up brush again, but you know, it is what it is. At least I know once it's cured, it's going to look neat. So yeah, finished with that. So I'll cure that for 60 seconds. Because these are quite deep colours, I want them to be able to cure all the way through, so I'm not flash curing these. I'm curing them all the way. And then in with the second layer, applying that peach colour again to the middle finger. I really fell in love with that colour. I mean, that turquoise colour is beautiful as well. It is stunning. And I've got a tan on my hands, as you can probably see in the video, so it just makes those colours pop so much more when you've got a tan. Definitely a favourite, this combo. I was really happy with this combo. I thought they went together really well, like totally complemented each other, the turquoise and the orange. I suppose they're opposites on the colour wheel, so it stands to reason that they would complement each other. It's beautiful turquoisey green, very pretty colour. Again, I'm trying to be neat, as neat as I can with my shaky hands. trying not to get it on the skin as much as possible. You do want to avoid that, but yeah, if it happens, you can wipe it off, but try not to get it on the skin as much as possible, because you've probably heard this a million times, but constant exposure to nail products can lead to contact dermatitis or an allergy to nail products, and we don't want that. So it's best to avoid it touching the skin as much as possible. They are chemicals, don't forget, they are chemicals, and they're not made for skin, made for the nails, all on top of an enhancement. They're not meant to be in contact with the skin. Anyway, I will continue applying my layers of gel polish, and I will pop back in for the next bit. Apologies for my big head getting in the way. I did have to cut that out a bit because, yeah, you couldn't see anything with my hair in the way. Do apologise. Well, you've seen me apply it, you know what I'm doing. I'm just applying another layer. Anyway, I'll be back in a sec. Actually, whilst I'm getting on with the application, I'll have a little chat. Let's have a little chat. How are you? I hope you are well and keeping safe in these strange old times. Lockdown has eased somewhat, but nail techs are still not able to go back to work yet, which is disheartening for a lot of people. I can understand why. I'm not a working nail tech as such. Because of my illnesses, I can't take on clients, but yeah, it's got to be really hard on the guys that can do clients, but they can't open up yet because of all the safety regulations and whatnot. Well, it's not because of the safety regulations, it's because the government has said no. But even when they do open up, all the new safety regulations, we were pretty stringent on the what's the word? You said, I'm having major brain farts today. Just can't function. We had a stringent policies when it came to hygiene in salons anyway. But the new added PPE things with the visors and whatnot, that's going to cost people a fair amount of money to implement all of those things when they can finally open. Feel sorry for you guys. Terrible. Anyway, I'm on to the design part. So I just applied my second coat of white gel polish, but I've not cured it. It's still wet. And I'm using a detailer brush to use the turquoise colour, and I'm applying 3 sort of curvy lines of that up the top end of the nail and 3 on the bottom end of the nail, as you saw. And then I'm doing the same with the coral colour, but 4 lines that is. And then I wipe my detailer brush off, and then I just drag it through all of those colours, and you get this really cool tie-dye effect design, which I used to do. I used to make soaps, so I used to do this design a lot on my soap. So it was pretty cool doing it on a nail. And when you saw me stabbing my little detailer brush into my nail there, it was because I had air bubbles and I was trying to pop them, and I had an air bubble on the side of my nail, and where it cured, it left a bump, and I really didn't like that, so I just filed that off, that little bump away, and now it's time to top it off and keep it tough. Topcoat tough. Oh yeah. So matte top coat on this set I thought would look really nice. It would look nice shiny too actually, but I really fancied the good old matte top coat. So that's it. That's the matte top coat. Oh, see, I matte top coat these, and I cure it, and I think, right, I'm done. But then I looked at the nails, and I thought, no, you're not done. It needs something else. So, had I thought of it beforehand, I wouldn't have top coated yet. I would have done the crystals and then top coated around them. But because I wasn't thinking about it at this point. I was thinking, oh, I'm done. So that's why I top coated. Yeah, bear in mind, if you're going to do something like this, don't top coat yet. But I'm showing you because this is the process. This is what I went through whilst doing this set, and I like to keep things in to show you exactly what happens. I like to keep it real. I don't like to, hide things as such. We're not perfect, and I like to be able to show that nobody's perfect, and we make mistakes, and we think of things afterwards, and that's what's happened. So yeah, there I thought, oh yeah, I'm finished, and then I was like, no, you're not, Karen, you're not. Something's missing. So I grabbed my SBD London diamond gel. It's diamond crystal gel pen thing, doohickey. You've seen me use it loads of times. And I got some crystals out, and so we are applying some crystals. So I fancied doing that sort of necklace looking design with the crystals, so that's what I'm doing here. And excuse my head and my hair getting in the way. I know that's annoying when my head gets in the way, but yeah, I didn't want to cut all of this out of the video because some people like to see the crystals being applied, so yeah. So as this adhesive, God, I really can't speak today. As this adhesive doesn't dry until you put your hand in your nail lamp, you've got all the time in the world to adjust your crystals wherever you want them. So I'm going to flash cure those for 10 seconds because I was happy with where they were and I want them to stay there. And then I shall add some more of that diamond gel pen stuff to add some more crystals, because why not, right? So on this finger, on the ring finger, I decided to do some around the cuticle area, tiara style, but then up the side of the nail as well. So you can see at first I had it round the middle, and then I wanted it to the side. I thought to the side looked better with the design that was on the nails. So yeah, have a play. There's nothing wrong with having a play. I'm looking at it and like, do I need any more? And then I was like, yeah, add some more. Add some more. And I'll just keep adding because that's me. So I was happy with that. And I was quite certain that they'd stay in place, so I just added a little bit more of the diamond gel to my middle finger. I wanted to put some around the end of it so it looks like a little bracelet around the tip of the nail, which is pretty cool. And then I'll make sure everything is in place where I want them, and then I shall flash cure those to make sure they don't move. There we go. And now onto the other fingers that I will be adding just a few crystals on, just for the sake of it. I thought they looked a bit bare by themselves with nothing on them. They looked a bit plain. You guys know me. I don't do plain. I like to have something going on. I mean, most of the time I'll have something going on. Sometimes I like a plain simple set, but mostly, like 90% of the time, there's always something else going on in the set. Really like these crystals. They're like they're green in certain angles, and then they're blue at other angles. They're really beautiful crystals. I think they're only cheapies from AliExpress as well, but they are stunning. I can't afford Swarovski crystals. Excuse me. Yeah, no. So it's time to top it off and keep it tough again. So obviously, if you'd have thought of the crystals first, you wouldn't have to top coat twice like I am. But whatever. So we're top coating around the crystals, not over them, because we do not want them to lose their shine, especially with a matte top coat. They would most certainly lose their shine with that. So top coat carefully around them, and I will butt my brush right up to the crystals, and you saw I got a little bit on the crystal there and I wiped it off my finger. Don't do that. Very bad, Karen. Very bad. use a wipe to wipe it off if you get any on the crystals. Don't just use your bare skin like I just did. Ugh. We're trying to avoid getting it on the skin. Yeah, don't do that. I was very naughty there. Shouldn't have done it. Anyway, top coat around those crystals, butt the brush right up against them so you get a sort of a little wall for the crystals to sort of be sunk in around. Oh, I hope I'm making sense. It sort of creates a little nest for the crystals to stay in. I picked out some orange crystals, but I decided not to use them. I just stuck with those greeny blue ones. So detailer brush to get any bits that I missed, that I couldn't reach with the brush from the bottle, and then we will be done. So as we are coming to the end of the video, I have got some video footage and some photos at the end, and I shall leave you to watch that in peace and quiet without me waffling on. So thank you for coming back to my channel if you're a returner. Thank you for coming to my channel if you're new here. Please subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button if you've enjoyed my video. Click the notification bell so you know when I upload a new video and all of that good stuff. Leave me a comment if you want to have a chat, or if there's anything you want to say about the video, what you enjoyed, what you didn't enjoy. You know, let me know. I'm happy to talk. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today, peeps. So please take care of yourselves, and I will speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.
Toda la noche contigo, hoy bien sé que la pasaste. Vamos pero a repetirlo otra vez, yeah. Mala mía si